Your smart security system is down, the power's out, the Wi-Fi is gone, and suddenly all that expensive cloud-connected tech is just a pile of plastic and wires. It's a modern nightmare, isn't it? The moment our sophisticated defenses become useless glass eyes. But what if the best defense for your home wasn't on an app, but hidden in the lessons of the past? What if you could protect your family using the same kind of thinking that people relied on during the total darkness of the Blitz? During World War II, ordinary people facing extraordinary threats had to be resourceful. They didn't have fancy gadgets or digital alerts. Their security was born from necessity and refined under the very real pressure of air raids and blackouts. They developed a mindset of using simple, clever tactics. Let's call them ghost traps. These weren't necessarily lethal devices, but psychological and physical barriers. While the idea of every home being a network of booby traps is more fiction than fact, the principles they used are surprisingly effective today. And I'm going to show you how to unearth 6 of these ghost traps for your own modern defense. Number 1, the thorny gauntlet, nature's barbed wire. The first ghost trap is one of the most elegant and effective, the thorny gauntlet. During World War II, particularly in Britain, metal was strictly rationed for the war effort, making new wire fences a luxury. People had to make do, and this meant falling back on time-tested security, the landscape itself. It all comes down to a simple truth. An intruder wants silence, speed, and surprise. The thorny gauntlet denies them all 3. The historical inspiration here is brilliant. For centuries, British farmers and landowners used thorny hedges like hawthorn as natural, living fences to contain livestock and mark boundaries. It's a small leap to see how this existing practice would be valued in a time of heightened insecurity. The idea was simple: use what you have. And what they had was nature. Think about the logic. An intruder trying to approach a house under the cover of darkness is met with an impassable wall of spikes. Pushing through is slow, noisy, and painful. It rips clothing and skin, leaving behind evidence. A window that was once a vulnerable entry point becomes a nightmare for a quiet approach. This isn't just a physical barrier. It's a powerful psychological warning. Most criminals are opportunists looking for an easy target. A house wrapped in nature's barbed wire is anything but. So, how do we apply this today? It's astonishingly simple and way more effective than a lot of modern decorative landscaping. First, walk the perimeter of your home and identify the weak spots. Where are the ground floor windows, especially those hidden from the street? Where could someone easily hop a fence or hide? These are the places you'll fortify. Instead of planting soft, harmless bushes under your windows, you plant a wall of pain. The goal is a barrier at least 3 to 4 feet deep and tall enough to reach the windowsill. Let's talk about plants. You want things that are dense, hardy, and viciously thorny. Pyracantha, or firethorn, is a fantastic choice. It's evergreen, so it works year-round, and its thorns are notoriously sharp. It even has some aesthetic appeal with its bright berries in the fall. Another great option is berberis, or barberry. Many types have needle-like thorns, and they grow so densely they're almost impossible to get through. Holly is another classic with its spiny leaves. For those in warmer climates, bougainvillea looks beautiful, but hides formidable thorns. Perfect for training up walls or along fences. And don't underestimate a thicket of old-fashioned rambling roses. Trained along a fence, they create an agonizing barrier for anyone trying to climb over. Number 2, the gravel ghost, a low-tech auditory alarm. Our second ghost trap requires no power, no batteries, and almost no maintenance, yet it can be one of the most effective early warning systems you can have. It's the gravel ghost. During the war, silence at night was everything. In a mandatory blackout, any unexpected sound could signal danger. People became acutely aware of auditory cues. The principle is simple. Control the soundscape around your perimeter. Imagine trying to sneak up to a building in the dead of night. If the ground is soft earth or grass, it's easy to do silently. But lay down a border of gravel or crushed stone, and a silent approach is suddenly impossible. Every footstep, no matter how careful, makes an audible crunch. That sound travels in the quiet of the night, instantly giving away an intruder's presence and location. It turns the ground itself into an alarm system. The idea is to deny an intruder the element of surprise by creating an environment where they can't move silently. Most burglars rely on stealth. The crunch of the gravel underfoot shatters that expectation. It creates immediate anxiety for the intruder. Did someone hear that? Is a light about to turn on? That moment of doubt is often enough to send them running. Bringing the gravel ghost to your home is incredibly easy and cheap. First, identify the lanes of approach, the natural paths someone would take. This means the walkway to your front door, the path to the back door, and critically, the areas directly under all your ground floor windows. Now, instead of smooth concrete or soft mulch, number 3, the silent sentinel, no-tech intrusion, alarms. Our third ghost trap takes the auditory principle of the gravel ghost and brings it indoors. This is the silent sentinel, a category of simple mechanical alarms designed to create noise and chaos if an intruder gets inside. During the chaos of war, looting was a real concern. If a family was in a shelter, their empty home was a target. The general principle, often seen in military fieldcraft, was to use tripwires to trigger a non-lethal but terrifyingly loud noise. The idea was to frighten off an intruder without a direct confrontation. A thin wire or fishing line, strung low across a dark hallway, could be connected to a stack of pots and pans, which would come crashing down with a deafening clang. The goal was twofold. First, the noise is an unmistakable alarm that wakes you up or alerts neighbors. Second, and maybe more importantly, it demolishes the intruder's confidence. In an instant, they go from being a predator in control to a clumsy fool who's been caught. The surprise, the loud noise, the fear of what else might be waiting for them, it was often enough to send them fleeing. So, how can we adapt the silent sentinel for modern use, safely and legally? First, a serious disclaimer. We are absolutely not talking about creating dangerous booby traps that could injure someone. The goal here is deterrence through noise and surprise, not harm. Many jurisdictions have strict laws against booby traps, as they pose a risk to first responders, guests, or even family members. These setups should only be considered in an emergency situation where you are home and expecting a threat, and you must ensure no innocent person could trigger them. Let's start with a simple modern adaptation. Take a standard battery-powered personal safety alarm that emits an ear-splitting siren when you pull a pin. You can get these for a few bucks. Using strong tape, mount the alarm to one side of a door frame. On the opposite side, install a small hook. Tie a piece of dark fishing line to the alarm's pin, run it across the doorway, and loop it onto the hook, then tie the other end to the doorknob. If someone forces that door open, the movement pulls the pin, unleashing a 130 decibel shriek. It's a devastating surprise for the intruder, and an undeniable alert for you. For an even lower tech version that mimics the old school method, create a noise trap. Find a precarious spot, like the top of a slightly ajar interior door. Stack a pyramid of empty aluminum cans. When the door is pushed open, the cans tumble onto a hard floor, creating a startling clatter. It's free and surprisingly effective. The psychology of the Silent Sentinel remains the same. It introduces an element of the unknown. The intruder tripped one trap. Are there more? Is the homeowner awake and armed? The house is no longer a static building. It's an active, hostile environment. This ghost trap proves you don't need expensive electronics to create a powerful intrusion alarm. We're halfway through our list. If you're finding this forgotten knowledge valuable, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. We're dedicated to unearthing more of these timeless survival and defense insights. Your support helps us keep this knowledge alive. Now let's get back to the traps. Number 4, the unseen barricade, hardening from within. Our 4th ghost trap shifts from alarms to pure physical resistance. This is the unseen barricade, the idea of rapidly hardening entry points using things you already have. This tactic is directly inspired by the experience of bombing raids, where doors and windows were catastrophic points of failure. During the Blitz, a nearby bomb blast could blow doors off their hinges and shatter windows into deadly shrapnel. People quickly learned that a standard door offered little protection. In response, they developed methods for instant fortification. Government advice showed people how to reinforce their homes from the inside, often by creating designated refuge rooms. Heavy furniture, like bookcases or dressers, could be pushed against doors to act as a massive barricade. For windows, people were famously advised to apply a crisscross pattern of tape to prevent the glass from shattering into deadly shards, a principle that directly informs modern security film. And of course, sandbags were used everywhere to absorb the energy of blasts, often stacked against a weak wall or basement window. The principle is about defense in depth. You assume your outer lock might fail, but you create a secondary, much tougher barrier on the inside that costs an intruder the one thing they can't afford: time. A criminal who just spent 30 seconds picking a lock does not expect to then face a 300-pound oak dresser on the other side. Adapting the unseen barricade is about mindset and prep. First, think like a World War II homeowner. Identify your most vulnerable entry points. This is almost always the front door, back door, and any large ground floor windows. Now let's talk about a modern take on internal reinforcement. A very effective method is creating a door security bar. You can pre-cut a length of 2x4 lumber to fit snugly across the inside of your door frame. Then install heavy-duty steel brackets on either side of the frame. In an emergency, you can drop this wooden bar into the brackets in seconds. This creates a physical barrier that is independent of the lock and can withstand a tremendous amount of force, adding precious time to your defense. The furniture barricade is just as relevant today. In your home defense plan, pre-identify which heavy pieces are best suited for which doors. The key is to practice. Know how to move it quickly. You don't want to be figuring that out for the first time in a real emergency. For windows, we can upgrade the World War II tape method. Modern security film is the direct descendant of this idea. When applied to a window, it holds the glass together even after it's been shattered. An intruder can hit the window with a brick, and while the glass will break, it remains held in place by the film, creating a tough, flexible barrier that is incredibly difficult and noisy to get through. Number 5, the phantom occupant, the psychology of deception. This next ghost trap is maybe the most subtle of them all. It's a pure psychological play that costs almost nothing, but can be incredibly powerful. This is the phantom occupant, the art of using light and sound to create the illusion of a home that is occupied and alert. During the war, deception was a key survival tool. The Allies built entire decoy armies with inflatable tanks. On the home front, the principle of deception was just as critical. The mandatory blackouts created a unique psychological landscape. A completely dark house was the norm. Therefore, any light or sound could be used strategically. The core idea, which is supported by modern criminology, is to manipulate an intruder's risk assessment. Burglars are risk-averse. They want empty, predictable houses. The phantom occupant strategy makes your home appear occupied and unpredictable. Ironically, modern habits often make us worse at this. We leave our homes dark and silent when we're away, signaling to anyone watching that the house is empty. So, let's resurrect the art of the phantom occupant with a World War II mindset. The most basic tool is light. But don't just leave a single light on, that's a dead giveaway. You need to simulate human activity. Use simple, cheap, mechanical or digital timers to have lights turn on and off in different rooms. A light in the living room comes on around dusk. Later it goes off, and a kitchen light comes on. Then a bedroom light comes on for a while before the house goes dark. This pattern mimics someone moving through their home. Now let's add sound. A radio or television on a timer is an incredibly powerful deterrent. The muffled sounds of talking or music from inside are strong signs of occupancy. Set a radio in a central part of the house to play for a few hours in the evening. The psychological impact on someone listening from outside is huge. But we can go deeper with a clever trick inspired by basic fieldcraft. It involves the strategic use of shadows. A light source placed low to the ground will cast long, exaggerated shadows of anyone approaching onto a nearby wall. We can adapt this at home. Use low-voltage, solar-powered garden lights, but instead of pointing them at your house, point them away from the house across a path towards a solid surface like a garage door or fence. Now, when someone walks through your yard at night, their body will block the light, and a massive moving shadow will be projected onto the wall. If that wall is visible from one of your windows, you've just created a silent, passive motion detection system. You'll see the giant shadow moving across your garage and know someone is out there. Number 6, the ghost protocol, a layered system. Our final ghost trap isn't a single tactic, but the master strategy that ties everything together. It's the ghost protocol, the principle of layered defense. This is a core philosophy in modern security, and its roots lie in the same kind of thinking that was essential for survival during the war. No single trick was a magic bullet. Instead, defense was a series of successive interlocking layers, each one designed to slow an intruder, expose them, and ramp up the psychological pressure. Let's imagine it from an intruder's perspective, applying these layers. First, they have to deal with a fence lined with thorny roses, the thorny gauntlet. Layer 1. It's difficult and makes noise. If they get through, they have to cross a 3-foot wide border of crushed stone, the gravel ghost. Layer 2. Every step broadcasts their position. Their confidence drops. They reach a back door, force it open, and trigger a shrieking personal alarm, the silent sentinel. Layer 3. The surprise is jarring, the noise deafening. Their heart is pounding. They push into a hallway, only to find the next door blocked by a heavy bookcase, the unseen barricade. Layer 4. Getting past it will take a huge amount of effort and make even more noise. All the while, lights have been on timers and a radio has been playing, suggesting the occupants are home and aware. The phantom occupant, which is layer 5. At every single stage, the intruder has faced another obstacle. Each layer cost them time, made noise, and increased their fear of being caught. The cumulative effect is overwhelming. The house is not a passive box. It's an active system designed to repel them. This is the ghost protocol. It's not about fighting. It's about making the fight so unappealing that it never starts. Implementing the ghost protocol is the final and most important step. It's about integrating the individual traps we've discussed into a cohesive strategy. Start from the outside and work your way in. Your outermost layer, the perimeter. This is the thorny gauntlet. Use defensive planting along your property lines. This is your first line of resistance. Your second layer, the approach. This is the domain of the gravel ghost. Install noisy pathways of crushed stone, leading to your entry points and under your windows. This is also where you can use low-level lighting to betray movement with shadows. Your third layer, the entry points. This is the unseen barricade. Use solid doors, reinforced frames, and long deadbolts. Have security film on your windows, and have your door security bars or other barricades ready to go. This layer is designed to create delay. Your fourth layer, the interior. This is where the silent sentinel stands guard. Simple, no-tech alarms placed in key hallways or just inside doors to serve as a final, terrifying surprise for the intruder. Finally, there's one more layer that was crucial during World War II. The community. Neighborhood watch groups weren't just for spotting enemy aircraft. They were for observing suspicious activity and looking out for one another. Knowing your neighbors and having a plan to communicate is arguably the most powerful layer of all. An active, observant community is a profound deterrent. The Ghost Protocol is a mindset. It's the understanding that security isn't just a product you buy, it's a system you create. It's the ultimate lesson inspired by the civilian defenders of World War II. Ingenuity, preparation, and a layered approach will always be more powerful than a single gadget. So there you have it, 6 ghost traps. Defensive principles inspired by the resourcefulness of the World War II era, unearthed for your modern home. The thorny gauntlet, the gravel ghost, the silent sentinel, the unseen barricade, the phantom occupant, and the master strategy that ties them all together, the Ghost Protocol. What's truly remarkable about these ideas is that they were born out of necessity and executed by ordinary people. They didn't rely on technology that could fail or on help that might not come. They relied on timeless principles of physics, psychology, and ingenuity. In our world, we've become very dependent on complex systems that can be disabled with a power outage or a cut wire. The wisdom of that generation teaches us that true security comes from resilience. It comes from layered defense. And it comes from understanding that the best way to win a fight is to deter it from ever starting. By using these simple, low-tech ideas to make your home a harder target, you're adopting a mindset of preparedness and empowerment that is as relevant today as it was in the 1940s. If you found this forgotten knowledge useful, share this video. Help us keep these timeless strategies alive. And I want to hear from you in the comments. What other old-school security tactics do you know of, either from your own family history or your own research? Let's build a community dedicated to this practical wisdom. And of course, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video, where we'll be exploring more historical survival tactics that still work today. Stay prepared and stay safe.